Good morning, everybody. It's John Bergsma fishing today on Thunder Bay area in Alpena, Michigan on Lake Huron, searching for a mixed bag, walleye, Atlantics, silverfish, and lake trout. Stay tuned. It's going to be a great show.
Gonna run some high baits. Right here I got a little mini disc and a spoon. Mini disc will run down probably around 20-25 feet on a planer board. And then we'll be running some 125 coppers, which will be running down probably 25 to 30 feet down. Targeting walleye, steelhead, Atlantics, possibly some kings. Of course, we'll always pick up the lake trout. Lake trout are everywhere out here.
Today we were fishing just outside of Alpena on the Lake Huron shoreline, and we were fishing basically just a few miles north or south of the Bay of Thunder Bay. My guest was a charter captain, Steve Hubert, and he is the owner of Chum Bucket Guide Service, and he is a fantastic guide because not only does Steve guide here on Lake Huron for the Great Lakes, but he also guides on the resident local lakes like Hubbard Lake and Fletcher's Pond and the Thunder Bay River.
Alpena is a great fishery for multi-species. We have primarily the lake trout and the walleye, but mixed in you'll get the king salmon, you'll get the Atlantic salmon, coho, pink salmon. It's not uncommon to catch 4 or 5 different species on any single trip. Yeah, a lot of my clients, they come in search of that mixed bag fishery. It's pretty unique when your rod goes off and the fish takes off and jumps, or you're not sure what's going to be on the end of the rod. So taking home multi-species, they get to try different types of fish to eat. It's a pretty big draw.
We're using the Traxtech downriggers today on the Traxtech full rail system. And what I love about these is the fact that I can set a target depth. Once I'm catching fish, I simply set my target depth, hit the auto down button, and it will slowly at first and then more quickly send my rigger down. I can be watching something else, I can be looking at my graph, I don't have to pay attention to the downrigger. It will go all the way to the target depth. Once it gets there, it slows down, accomplishes it exactly, and stops. Same when you're raising the downrigger. All you have to do is hit that auto up button, and it brings it right back to the preset water level depth that you set when you began fishing. It's a really cool feature, and it makes setting riggers and working with riggers much more easy when you're out there on the water. See it slowing down now? 125 is the target depth, and it stops right there. I've thumbed my rod down, I'm ready to fish. Just that simple, and I can turn and walk away. When a fish hits, I grab the rod, take it out of the holder to fight the fish, hit the auto up button, and when I'm done fighting that fish, that rigger ball will be right at the surface. That looked like a real nice, oh, now she's getting lively. Realized it was hooked.
Yeah.
Well, we're in a little bit tighter right now, trying to coax a walleye bite in the morning before we go out and search for the bigger fish, and we had a board fall back nicely. Looked like a walleye. Let's hope we've hooked up with one. What we're fishing with right here is a setup of copper line, and basically what it is it's you put it on with in lengths, and what you do is you like this one here. What is this, 125 or 150? Yeah, 150, and what that does is at specific speeds, you know where that's running, and you use speed or the amount of line to determine your depth. If you go slower, of course, the line's going to sink. If you go faster, the line's going to raise up a little bit. And what you do is you rig up reels with sections of it, like 100, 125, 150, or 100, 150, and 200, and that gives you the ability to control, your depth in different spreads with a consistent speed. Today, 2.2 seems to be recently what Steve's been catching most of the fish on. Yep, looks like a walleye. I see the classic open mouth, Steve. Might be a. What do you think, Steve?
That's a walleye.
Yeah, it's a nice walleye. Oh yeah. Boy, is that nice. It might be a trout.
It probably is a lake trout. Looks like a clearer mouth, and it's a lake trout.
Well, you know what they say, orange, Steve.
There's the bait fish all over the back of your boat. There's the smelt right there.
Yeah.
This looks like a natural lake trout. Looks like he's got all of his fins, no fin clips, so.
And these are perfect eating size fish, aren't they? I mean,
They are absolutely delicious. With the forage base out here eating primarily smelt and the gobies, they definitely have changed their flavor.
Yep, and we're targeting these fish for the grill for Chef Grant to prepare, and the bigger ones we're going to go ahead and release today. But it's a start.
Right here's what the lake trout are eating right now. We're getting a lot of the smelt. These are young of the year smelt. They're less than a year old. I think they were probably hatched out this spring after the smelt run. And they're about, looks like about 2 inches long right now. Lake trout have been eating a lot of those, but their primary food is the goby.
Great Lakes Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by Lowrance Electronics, fish the finest. This segment is brought to you by Traxtech, the ultimate fishing system.
Right now we're running upwind, we've made a turn, and one of the things I love about the Mercury Verado is with the SmartCraft gauges is I've got this troll function here. And what I can do is I can set my trolling RPM to be lower or higher. The standard factory set's 550. And when I'm on flat water, that's good for 2.3, 2.4. But when I'm going into seas like we are today, about a 1 foot chop, I need to bump that up to 730, 740 to maintain my speed. And I have the ability to do that just by touching the plus or minus buttons on the SmartCraft gauge. That function right there makes trolling with this Verado just absolutely perfect. It makes the speed utterly controllable. When we turn to go downwind, what we do then is I've got a 9.9 Pro kicker on the back with a remote control throttle right here, right below my main throttle. And that is just absolutely fantastic because I control that right down to literally, 1, 1, 1, 2. And that gets me all that I need, the scope of trolling. I almost never go less than 1 when I'm trolling. So I use the Pro Kicker when I'm 1 to maybe 2, and anything much over 2.2 or 2.3, I go ahead and turn the Verado on and use that. It's so quiet, it's almost embarrassing to say that the 225 Verado is quieter than a 9.9 Pro Kicker, but it is. It's a fantastic mix to have that main engine Verado and the 9.9 Pro Kicker next to it as secondary power in case of an emergency, but also that total scope of boat control from 1 all the way to as fast as you need to go to catch fish.
He's still there.
Gotta
Had
be.
a hit anyway.
Gotta be. What you got going on there, Steve?
Oh, it hit like a walleye.
Like a walleye.
Hopefully he's still on there. Could be another small laker.
Which we'll take because we don't have quite enough to feed the crew yet.
We will.
I got your board when you're ready. I love these offshore boards, a simple clip and that thumb release right there makes it just a pop of a thumb. And get that board right off.
Gotta love the snapper releases.
Yep.
It's the only way to go. It's fighting like a walleye.
I like walleye. I love walleye.
Get the mixed bag for the dinner tonight.
I love it. I love it. That is Alpena right there. That is so unusual. I mean, where can you go and catch silverfish, trout species, and walleye all in the same port? All literally what? Almost always within 5 miles of a boat ramp, right? I mean, you don't have to go trucking 20 miles out. I see that big open mouth back there.
Yeah, he's on the surface.
Oh yeah.
Skiing right in. So.
Which is perfect, actually. And what rod was that? Is that the 125 copper again?
Yeah. I think it's, yeah, it's a 150.
150? Yep, and we brushed right up against, if you see, we got a rock pile. We just went by a 24-foot hump, and we brushed the right side of the boards right over up against that structure, and boom, walleye, right there. Oh yeah.
At least that's what I'm thinking it is.
I think it is too. I see that classic open mouth in surrender.
Once in a while you get a lake trout that fights identical, but
either way,
it's a surprise every time you reel something in. Sure, it might be another small laker.
Might be another laker, right?
Yeah. Well, after that cold front, the walleyes might be shut down, so.
Oh yeah,
looks
another
like
nice laker, Blake.
laker.
One for the frying pan, the kind you're searching for.
Yeah. He's gonna do that thrashing now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But another really nice eating fish.
So what we have here is a natural lake trout. No fins clipped.
Another perfect eater there, Steve.
It's a great eating size fish. We're trying to target the steelhead, the Atlantics, and the walleyes, but these smaller lake trout, they like to run a little higher in the water column, so you'll catch these right along with your other fish. So far, we got a couple good eaters.
Absolutely. Keep him for Chef Grant, and hopefully a couple of bigger ones start biting.
Yes, sir.
Well, we've been trolling the shallows here in the morning to try to get the eater fish, and we're pushing on 11 o'clock now, so we're going to go ahead and drop out into 110, 120 feet of water, see if we can't tie into some bigger fish. Stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Ely, Minnesota. On the Boundary Waters Canoe Area, Ely, one of North America's last pure wilderness experiences. Great Lakes Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by Terrace Bay Conference and Convention Center. Terrace Bay, Escanaba's only waterfront facility. If you plan on visiting the Alpena area for some fishing, it's worth a drive around the area to see the local sites. Or if you bring the family along, there are tons of things to do and see. One of the big draws of this area is the Maritime Museum, which is a hands-on discovery center with artifact displays, interactive learning stations, and historical information on the nearly 200 shipwrecks around the Alpena area. The Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary is the only freshwater sanctuary in the country and one of the largest collection of shipwrecks in a small area in the world. The Thunder Bay area was a dangerous area for many years, and the shipwrecks are proof. Alpena shipwreck tours take passengers out to see many of these wrecks. There are several of them in fairly shallow water that allows for amazing viewing. If an east wind kicks up and you can't get out to fish the bay, nearby Fletcher's Floodwaters is a great destination for inland fishing. Jack's Landing is a popular spot to access the lake, and great fishing can be had without going too far from the dock.
Fletcher Pond is the 11th largest inland lake in the state of Michigan. It's pretty much a shallow floodwater that's strictly fishing. It's not good for wave runners, water skiers. It's good waterfowl hunting in the fall. But the species of fish that it holds, which are the largemouth bass, a few smallmouth bass, northern pike, plenty of perch, bluegill, crappie, have an increased growth rate than on most lakes. And every acre of this 9,000 acre lake holds fish.
But the nice thing about fishing out of Alpena, there are rarely days where the wind keeps you off the water, even in a small boat.
One of the nice things about the Sunrise side of the state, and that's the northeast corner here in Alpena, is that it's really wind protected. The primary wind in Michigan is a south-southwest wind, and it's really protected here. Everything from south to southwest, southeast, even a straight west, even a little northwest wind won't hurt you at all. It's really just a due north wind and an east wind that seems to knock you down. And that only happens a few times a year, so this is a really fantastic place to come. If you struggle with seasickness, you want to fish here because it is usually flat water. Yay! Success. Well, Captain Steve moved us, and we just got set up. We're battling a little bit of a post-cold front wind, and we went to a little deeper water, tried to get a better shot at a little bit more consistent marks, and we haven't been here a half an hour and we've already got one on, so that's a good sign. Oh yeah, 35 feet. Oh yeah, there he is.
Big fish on the dip.
Big fish on the outside board, yay. I'm gonna hustle this one right up to the net, Steve. All right, I'm gonna grab that outside board. Oh yeah, now this is good. When you're setting these board rods, make sure you leave your clicker on and back your drag off so that right away on the hit, it starts clicking out, and that'll give you a lot of help at knowing you've got a fish and being all over your rod. We had the clickers on and just the drag set, so as soon as there's good pressure on it, it starts clicking out, and this is a much better fish. I tell you what, we've worked today to locate a biting pattern. Last night we had pretty heavy line of storms come through, picked up some pretty strong winds, and we've got a little leftover wind here today, but the Alpena area is just filled with good biting fish, so.
All the way down on 135 feet down, 140 foot of water. So have to get the planer board off for John here. You can see the head shakes on this fish, so.
300 copper, it's a ways. Got a real steady and easy. There's no stretch in this copper, and you don't want to tear the hooks out of the lake trout. They have reasonably soft mouths, and you just got to be a little bit careful. You can't horse them, just slow and steady wins the race when it comes to this copper. I'm seeing my leader, so we're getting towards the end of it. It's right there, Steve-O. He can get it. Nice fish. Nice. All right, Steve-O.
We caught him on a 300 copper, which is out in this deep water. Is going to get you down at 2 miles an hour, probably down 100, 120 feet down. So that was a method we got this guy at. Normally at 2.5 miles an hour, it would go down about 66 feet, 22 feet per 100. So when you slow it down, that copper sinks very fast. It's a very effective way to get these lake trout out here deep.
Yeah, he slugged it. That board went back hard.
This segment is brought to you by Jack's Landing Resort and Campground, located on the shores of beautiful Fletcher's Pond, serving fishermen for generations. And by Campers Cove RV Park, located directly on the shores of Thunder Bay River in Alpena, Michigan. Fisherman's Digest is brought to you by the Sanctuary Inn and Conference Center, experience the finest. And by Alpena Shipwreck Tour and Museum, the Lady Michigan tour boat, Alpena's most popular tourist destination.
Alrighty, we got corn today. We're gonna roast it up in the grill. It takes about 20 minutes, so we're gonna get it on way ahead of time. Make sure it's done. Alrighty, it's been about 20 minutes, so we're gonna check on our corn. You should feel a little softness to it, a little give. So. Oh yeah, nice. The leaves are a little crunchy on the outside, soft. We're gonna take it and set it aside before we cook our fish. Let it cool down so we can handle it. All right, we have a special recipe for you today. We have grilled garlic rosemary trout. So to get ready for this, get your grill good and hot, about 500 degrees to start. Open her up, spray it down. Don't be afraid of the flames. Then we're gonna put the salt on your trout. Not too much pepper. Don't want it to overpower the rosemary. And then a little garlic salt. And open up your rosemary. I use crushed rosemary. Works the best, doesn't you know, get stuck in your teeth as much as the bigger flakes do. And you don't need much of it, it's really potent. Then a little bit of oil. Time to go on the grill. There we go. Shut that up, we'll leave it for a few minutes, come back, flip it, leave it another few minutes, and she'll be ready. All right, it's been about 5 minutes now. We're gonna open up the lid, see if they're ready to flip, which I can tell by the back side they are. Yep, nice and easy. There we go. Shut it back up a couple more minutes, they'll be ready. All right, we're ready to take her off the grill. Oh, that rosemary smells amazing. Yeah, falling apart. Beautiful. All right, let's go eat this. Alrighty, we got the finished product here. Our garlic rosemary trout, our fried red skin potatoes, our roasted corn, a little parsley to set it all off. I hope you enjoy.
Yeah, Steve?
Another fish down 131 feet. Feels like a decent fish. I don't think it's a monster, but.
Right at the end, they always seem to go nuts. Oh, he wants to go the other way. And they talk about lake trout not fighting, but these ones in Huron seem to be pretty spunky. Beautiful fish. We'll release him though, Steve.
I'm gonna release him?
Yeah, I think so.
He's in pretty good shape.
Yep. Yeah. Better fish. Not moving him, quite frankly. That's how much better he is.
Seen it here. It's free now.
Well, Steve, that's what Alpena and the Sunrise Coast offers. Fantastic fishing, eh?
Lots of great fishing. Lots of fish here.
Unbelievable. Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm John Bergsma, host of Fisherman's Digest. We'll see you next week.
Closed captioning provided by the Quality Inns of Escanaba, Manistee, and St. Ignace on US 2 and the Eastern Upper Peninsula.
Water hump. And that seems to be the ticket right now to getting bit. We are battling a cold front, and that's just,
He just come off.
Just pulled off.